the Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will round up the weekend with a Mass. We've been invited by Corpus Christi Epiphany Catholic Church in the 7th Ward to come and celebrate with them in their Mass, and they will observe our 20th anniversary. Following that, we'll have a reception that's open to the public. Of course, the Mass and the reception are free and open to the public.
And the dates are November 8th through 10th,
Hmm.
2024.
Yes.
And and I like the fact that it is an annual conference, but it is also a celebration.
It's a celebration.
Yes.
So we have learning, which, of course, as academics, we are certainly interested in. But what I can tell you is that for 20 years, the membership of the Louisiana Creole Research Association has been engaged in genealogy. And that is one of the things that drew me to the organization because their membership is constantly looking for their own histories and the like. So we think learning is fun, and that's a celebration as well. So you will see. I want to say that our organization was founded 20 years ago by Pat Shakesnyder and Ingrid Stanley, who kept running into each other at the archives as they were researching their family histories. And they had the revelation at that time to just say, let's make this an organization. And they sent a call out, and they had an impressive number of members who became people who were interested and became charter members. So it has grown now from there on.
Well, will you please give me a profile of your membership?
Our membership, as far as demographics are concerned, and geography across Louisiana, we have a bulk of the members from around the country, which represents the migration of Louisiana peoples across the country, and we even have members in abroad in a couple countries there in Europe, and we have I think we may have members who have an address perhaps in West Africa. Not quite sure of that address, but some of them are connected to family members here. So we spread our wings far and wide, and all of which is based on seeking one's ancestry and bringing that into the present.
And the reason I ask is that because I want our listening audience to understand is that you're not strictly uh,
Right.
uh,
Hmm.
an academic profile, and excuse me, not just an academic experience.
It didn't
Yes.
begin as an academic experience. It
Okay.
began with lay people
Okay.
who were figuring out genealogy in the days before Ancestry.com, before computers. They were doing it the old fashioned way, going to archives and libraries, going to look up birth records, death records, going to look up secessions in courthouses. And so they became quite proficient and again began to share that with other members. Academics became involved, but it was not
Such
an
as
academic.
yourself, right?
Yeah, it was not an academic formed by academics, which is good
Yes.
because
Yes.
as professors, as you know, Dr. Clark, one of the things that we find rewarding is to share outside of the classroom. And for a number of years, I know you have done this as well, and is to get your students outside the classroom and to engage the community. And here, the community engaged itself and then brought in academics and the like.
And
So,
I'm expecting. I think that you indicated that maybe as many as 200 plus.
yes,
Yes.
I think our current membership may be about 230, almost
Hmm.
240 or so. So that's really good in the sense that we have a good number. And that number can go up or down, but rarely much farther than much closer to, say, 225, 240 or so.
I like that enterprise.
Hmm.
Now, in terms of your speakers that you're going to have, and I appreciate it. And I look at the array of speakers that you have, and I think it's awesome. And you
Yeah.
can talk about your speakers and ones that I know you like them all, but you're particularly looking forward to.
So one of our conference organizers is Fatima Sheikh. As you know, she is the noted author of Economy Hall here in about Louisiana and New Orleans in particular. And Fatima's vision was to make sure that it would be interactive in our conference this year, as it is often. But we will start the morning with an interview of Christophe Landry. Christophe Landry is, I think he's 7 or 9 generations of Louisiana. He speaks several languages. He himself is a PhD, but he has a particular connection for us as well with Ancestry.com. So he will start the morning telling or talking to members about Ancestry.com and how to make use of it and what all it can do, as well as his expertise in Louisiana history, particularly in South Louisiana. He is a purveyor of a language that is developed here in Louisiana, and it's called Kuruvina. And Kuruvina is it's a you know, African-based, French infused, native infused, Spanish. In other words, it has those, but it is its own language here, and it's spoken more freely in Southwest Louisiana. So he
Which
is
parishes in particular?
Southwest Louisiana. You have Lafayette Parish, St.
Iberia.
Landry Parish, Iberia,
Yes.
St. Mary,
Yes.
Acadia, Evangeline Parish. You'll have all the way to Lake Charles, which is Calcasieu, Jeff Davis and Calcasieu parishes. So Christophe Landry is going to begin with an interview, and then we will go on from there with Amistad.
Okay, but excuse me, but I'm familiar with the language, but I never knew it had a particular identification.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
If you would like it spelled Kourir and Vini Vini. And so its translation roughly means to come here.
Yeah.
And so that's a rough
Yes,
translation
yes.
of it. But I think it was interesting to find that label as a name because my own parents, especially my father, who came from Latel and Opelousas and that Plaisance region. I mean
St. Landry
that was
Parish,
their
yes,
first.
yes.
That was his first language, as well as my older siblings on my father's side.
That's why I say I'm
Hmm.
familiar, but I just did not know it had a particular
Yeah, yeah,
identification.
yeah.
Yes.
And he's going to tell us about it in his in the
Now you say the
interview.
Amistad people are going to be,
So
yes.
the Amistad Kathy Hambrick is going to come with Lisa Moore, and we all know Kathy Hambrick. She is the executive director now has been now for over a year or so of Amistad. So they will come and talk to um, the the conference attendees about what Amistad has to offer in terms of what La Creole's membership does in genealogy and the like, and share its rich collection with the membership. With her will be Lisa Moore, who works with Amistad as well. And so we are looking for that. Then rounding out the morning, we'll have Yael Gordon. I think she is known more affectionately as Yaya Gordon,
Yeah.
who is a PhD candidate herself, but has made her name, and she will speak to us about people who are not commonly looked at as Creoles, and those are the enslaved people. So a lot of times we look at people who became free and as Creoles, but she will share with us her research into people in enslaved people who are not commonly looked at as Creole and some other of her findings. So she will engage the participants in that. So again, all of this is interactive. So that's our morning session. And then if you'd like to talk to you about our afternoon sessions, then we can go
Yes,
with that.
please.
So after the morning session, we will break for lunch. Before that, we will have from the Midlo Center, from UNO, they will come in and speak to us briefly about a project that's there on mapping that is of particular interest to the work that La Creole does. And then we'll have Pat Shake Snyder and Ingrid Stanley, our founders, will present our awards. We usually have two awards there, a service award and a founders award. And then they will do a presentation about the history of La Creole. One of our board members, Cedric Ellsworth, has is putting together a slideshow or PowerPoint, if you will, on through the 20 years. So
Yes.
we'll have that going on. Once that has been done, we will return in the afternoon and have our two afternoon speakers. We are fortunate as well to have Alan Rosenberg, who is I think he said a seventh generation or fifth generation. I'm not sure. I didn't I don't want to mislead you on that, but I think it's something like he's deeply rooted here in New Orleans, but he lives in New York, and he works with Sotheby's, so that's a big
Yeah.
thing to have with him. He's a curator, um, and instructor in the graduate program there, and he will come and share with us our members, which is a particular interest. And this is his talk is going to be connected to Jeremy Simeon, who you've probably seen, the art collector
Yeah.
here. There's a similarly situated, and what they will come and present to us is help members to look at what we have all of our personal heirlooms, to talk about how do you differentiate between an heirloom and an icon. What might be able to go in auction, but they are not making any appraisals there. They're just helping you to understand what the difference is that this could mean. I think this is very important, not only for this group, but for many of us have been reading a lot of things
Yes.
under the title "Baby Boomers, Your Children Don't Want Your Stuff,"
And they don't.
and they don't.
And they
And
even
so,
including your books.
yes, they don't want. Oh, gee, tell me about it. I have something, but it will help us to understand things. You might want to think that you can keep a value, and things might be of value financially, might be of just something you want to pass down, and talk to us about how to understand those kinds of things. And the like. So we're really excited, especially of all of our. I keep saying there's a stellar lineup.
But there's something you did not mention that I would think we should highlight, and the music by Quiet Storm.
Oh, that is at our gala on Friday night.
Okay.
Yes, we will have music by Quiet Storm. I'm sorry, I listen. Our gala chair, Paula Adams, will probably say, "Wait, you didn't mention all the music." We will also have at the gala on Friday night. That will be at Corpus Christi Resource Center. Um, we'll not only music, but we'll also have the slideshow. We'll have the founders to make a brief presentation or discussion there. So food, and we are in Louisiana and New Orleans, so the food will be good. And
Yeah,
so you can.
absolutely.
I need to tell people that they can purchase a ticket for that gala, and also register for the conference. You go to our website, www.lacreole, that's LACREOLE.org. If you go to lacreole.org and scroll down the page, and it'll say register, you can go on there and you can buy a ticket.
And the
For
price for the tickets
the
again?
ticket for the gala is $50 per person, and the tickets, not tickets, the registration, I should say, for the conference, $60 if you're a member and $70 if you're not a member.
And again, this is a nonprofit.
It is nonprofit.
Yes, and that's also part of the value of what you do.
Yes, yes. It makes it, since knowing that it is a 501c3 organization, tells you that you can make contributions to it. And the gala supports what we call our Legacy Legion campaign. And that is where we are building up our endowment so that we can establish a Center for Creole Studies over at Xavier. And Xavier has been very supportive of La Creole. We have a small, an office there that we are not there all the time to man the office, or to have someone there, but that's where we can operate out of. So the Xavier University community, beginning with Dr. Francis and now with Dr. Verrett and others of their staff, have been very supportive of La Creole. And we have faculty members there who do Creole studies and the like. So we're just pleased with that connection.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And as we move forward, just give us some baseline understanding in terms of the definition of Creole in the state of Louisiana, and
Mhm.
also and with your organization,
Mhm.
and then let us know of some of the over the past 20 years, some of the highlights that you think that you personally really, really like?
Yes. So this is the definition of Creole is up for debate all over the world. Um, we first see it in the 15th century here in the Western Hemisphere with the Portuguese, and then, of course, with the Spanish and the French. Creole initially meant a person born on the here in the Western Hemisphere, but whose parents were not.
Precisely.
That was its
That was
basic.
during the period of
That
colonization.
that's right. As colonization took hold,
Yeah.
and then there came, and so you will see Creole communities in West Africa. You'll see, I mean, even in, I think, in Senegal, initially Senegambia, and then Senegal. There are groups of people called Métis, and those two, it's, morphed into what we understand as Creole. We try not to. We try, and I think sometimes we're successful. Of course, we try to understand Creole as a culture, and as we follow it around, especially in the Western Hemisphere here, that is North America, South Central America, the Caribbean. As we follow people around, we'll see that they developed cultures, and we want to make sure that people don't look at Creole as a biological construct that is as a race of people.
An
That's
ethnicity,
backward and
yes.
ignorant, and we don't promote that. We promote it as a culture. And so that looking at it that way means that there are different expressions of that same culture in different places. So, for example, as I said, I'm from Southwest Louisiana, and you'll have some different Creole cultures there. You have Creole cultures here in New Orleans, and further down in South Louisiana, you have Creole cultures all over the country as people migrated out of Louisiana, especially. I just read recently an understanding of Gullah Geechee as a Creole culture because of that same basic definition. So you have something new created here, and it's wonderful and it's beautiful. You have, as we understand, culture itself in any group. It means that you have some commonalities among the people who practice or who adhere to that culture. So you have religious expressions. So here in Louisiana, generally you'll see many people who are Creole or Catholic. Um, they ways of cooking and ways of expressing oneself.
But
Uh,
genealogy plays a role in this
and
as well, don't you say?
genealogy, because of course you pass it down, but that doesn't mean that people are different species of human beings. And connected to that, of course, is the notion that there is no other race but human people. And as you know, and I have to preach to you, but to say that we came up with all these color definitions, not we, slaveholders came up with that. And that was to establish white as power and everybody else below it. And so we tend not to, in La Creole, say that Creoles are a race of people, but they're cultural groups that have been coherent among different geographic spaces. And so, if you have here in New Orleans a Creole community, let's say in the Seventh Ward or in another area, they will find commonalities among themselves that may be different from other groups in other places in the city or in other parts of Louisiana. That means they can be Creole culturally, and other groups can be Creole culturally with various expressions.
Yes, and uh, your highlights that you've seen over the past 20 years that you have been really happy about, that you say, you know what, I remember this and what took place
Yeah.
7 years ago or 4 years ago, but what
Yeah.
particular events or speakers?
Well, I came into the organization in 2010, and I was asked to sit on a panel, and I have a lovely picture that I think the photographer, I think it was Cedric Ellsworth, who took of me on that panel with Leah Chase. She was on the panel. I love it.
It was a
It
great
just
panel,
go, yeah,
huh?
and
Yes.
I love the whole image of it. And so I haven't been in the organization since it's founded, but speaking to its founders and its charter members, so many of them who are embedded in the organization from the beginning, they speak so highly of one, the work they do in genealogy, And then also the highlight of the year is this conference. But there are some other things that happen with them, so it makes your
Okay.
membership worthwhile. We have we have two member well two programs, I think it is two programs that are open to the public. So they'll do, last year I think we had Warren Bell's documentary, and then a Q and
On
A
the
with him.
cemeteries.
Yeah, on the
Oh, I
cemetery.
know that's
And
outstanding.
yes, it was. And so we have had various topics. Our program chair for that is Mia James Alexis, who's on the board. She has, with her committee, put on wonderful programs. We also have other things that are open to the public, and that we call them Coffee and Cousins. Those are free and open to the public, where people, members, and others come together. In the religious lingo, we call it fellowship. And so, if you would come to Coffee and Cousins, you'd have all the last names in your family that you want, that you research or that you're interested in, and lo and behold, you find out, oh wow, someone else has has those last names. And so those Coffee and Cousins sessions have been very beneficial. Even some,
Enlightening,
yeah,
enlightening, I would
and even
imagine.
I think some people who are members decide to have a Coffee and Cousins in New York because they had enough people there who are interested in there. So we've met in various places here in Louisiana. We encourage membership wherever they are if they want to have a Coffee and Cousins. But that way you can ask questions. So, um, you introduced me as Eva, middle initial S,
Yes.
but my name is Simeon, and so
Yes. And,
it's like Smith in Southwest
yeah,
Louisiana.
that's a big name, Simeon.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
How can I?
yeah,
Simeons. I don't think there's a university in Louisiana where there's not a group of Simeons.
yeah, yeah. So so I can connect with other people in the group. We had a member who's now deceased, um, iconic member. Her name was Miss Joanne Saint Cyr, and so
Saint
when she
Cyr.
said,
Yes.
Simeon, we are cousins. We know, I know. And so she, in her research of her own ancestry, found so many connections to so many people. And she'll say, "Come by, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about how I get connected to the Simeons out there." That kind of thing. And there's such exuberance at these sessions that people are walking around or talking and trying to figure out if I'm connected, or not even if I'm just connected to you, but I might, through my own research, find out something about your family.
Which
And
is the
I
way it
could share.
normally works.
Yes, yes.
You do a
And
lot of discovery. Yeah.
yes. So I would caution people who would say, "Oh, that's just a Creole thing and it's just limited to them." It is not. It is open to anybody who want to do genealogy, who want to understand how to find their own ancestry. So you'll find a lot of interest in that, and people who are so willing to help out and talk about it.
What has been most rewarding for you through your
Oh, just
period?
talking to
Yes.
people about their research and listening about how they get to their genealogy. My interest is, as a historian, my interest is how genealogy and history can work as constant companions.
Okay, in the remaining 30 seconds that we do have, please tell us how they can reach you and,
Okay.
again, the relevant information regarding the conference.
Yes. Go to our website and lacreole.org. As well, you may, if you have any particular questions, email. I'll answer it. It's conference@lacreole.org.
Thank
Conference@lacreole.org.
Oh, yes, and thank you again. Again, this is Dr.
Thank
Clark's
you.
Living Classroom. And with
Talk
Dr.
about a
Evas.
classroom
yes,
today.
they am.
Yeah.
And you can follow me on all aspects and platforms of social media. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Thank